Jai Hind दोस्तों. In this video, I will be speaking about qualitative research. Qualitative research in literature, the methods of qualitative research, and the elements of research. I'll begin with definition of qualitative research and explain each elements in that definition. Qualitative research is a methodology used to gather, analyze, and interpret non-numerical data to understand social phenomena, experiences, and meanings. It explores the what, how, and why of a research question, emphasizing depth, context, and nuance. So, in this definition, we try to understand what is what, how, and why of qualitative research. So, what refers to the phenomenon, concept, or issue being studied? What defines the scope and focus of the research? Example of what in qualitative research? What are the themes or what are the issues present in Rudyard Kipling's Kim? How of the research question? We have seen what of the research topic or what of the research question. Now, how of the research question? So, how examines the processes, means how something is done. So, how examines the processes, mechanisms, or relationships involved. It investigates the manner in which something occurs or is experienced, and it is typically answered through explanatory or comparative research questions. We need to understand what of the research question, how of the research question, and why of the research question. For example, how do the themes in Kim by Rudyard Kipling reflect the colonial context of British India? How do the themes in Kim reflect the colonial context of British India? And coming to the next part, why of a research question. So, why explores the reasons, motivations, or causes. Reasons, motivations, or causes. So, why of the research question investigates the purpose, why something happens, why something occurs, why something takes place. It investigates the purpose, significance, or implications, and it is typically answered through interpretive research question. It is typically answered through interpretive research questions. For example, why does Kipling use the theme of identity in Kim to explore the tensions between Eastern and Western cultures? So, this is how we have seen what, how, and why of the research question. So, qualitative research is methodology used to gather, analyze, and interpret non-numerical data to understand social phenomena. So, what is important here? Non-numerical data to understand social phenomena, experiences, and meanings. It explores the what, how, and why of a research question. So, qualitative research is normally subjective and interpretive. Subjective and interpretive. In this kind of research, qualitative research, researchers' perspective and biases are acknowledged. So, interpretation of data influenced by researchers' experiences and background. So, researchers' experiences and background, his culture, his ideology, his upbringing, all these factors influence the interpretation of data. So, qualitative research focuses on meaning and context. It emphasizes, its emphasis is on understanding the meaning of experiences, events, or text. So, contextual factors like social, cultural, historical are taken into consideration, and the research scholar tries to uncover underlying themes, pattern, and relationship in qualitative research. Non-numerical data. So, in qualitative research, the research scholar analyzes and interprets non-numerical data. Texts such as literature, all the genres of literature, documents, and interviews are interpreted, which are non-numerical. Images, photographs, videos, and artwork also are analyzed and interpreted. In qualitative research, there is certain method of data collection, how we collect data. This is particularly in terms of social sciences, not literature. In literature, we have novels, we have plays, we have poetry, we have short stories. So, along with the primary sources, we collect secondary sources also. In qualitative research, we have systematic analysis of, as I said, text, images, or even videos. Qualitative research involves in-depth analysis of complex texts. It also involves understanding of literary devices in all genres, maybe poetry, plays, fiction. So it explores contextualization of historical and cultural references. In literary research, we find contextualization of historical and cultural references. Qualitative research in literature contributes to literary theory and criticism. The importance of qualitative research in literature. It interprets literary texts as cultural artifacts. It is the product of culture. Literary text as the product of culture. Qualitative research, the research scholar interprets literary texts. In qualitative research, the research scholar examines power dynamics and social commentary. It reveals underlying aspects, topic, issues, or themes in literature. It provides contextual understanding of historical text, and it informs. Qualitative research in literature informs literary theory and criticism. Qualitative research and methods in literature. Close reading. So, close reading is a qualitative research method. Close reading is a qualitative research method which is used to analyze literary text, and it involves careful, detailed examination of the text. It pays attention to language, structure, and literary devices. It identifies themes, motifs, and symbols in literature. Close reading considers historical and cultural context. It involves interpretation of text's meaning and significance. Then, content analysis. Content analysis is a systematic method. It is a systematic method of analyzing text data, and that involves identifying themes, concepts, and keywords. It analyzes patterns and relationships. Then it's critical discourse analysis. Critical discourse analysis is a method for analyzing language and power relationship, and it involves examining language use in social contexts, identifying power dynamics and social structures, analyzing how language shapes and reflects reality. It reveals implicit and explicit meanings. Narrative analysis is a method. Narrative analysis is a method for examining stories and storytelling. It involves identifying narrative structures and themes, analyzing character development and relationships, examining the role of narrative in shaping identity, and considering historical and cultural context. And last is critical theories. We examine literature, the genres of literature. As I said, novels, plays, short stories, poetry. So we try to identify particular concept in literature, particular idea in literature, particular aspect in literature, and at the same time we have various critical theories. We use critical theory as a framework and we try to apply that framework or aspect of that critical theory to the literary text. So these are the methods that we find in qualitative research as far as literature is concerned. Thank you. Jai Hind.